Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, War Blunders is proud to present another episode of Stocked to Spaded, with our subject today, the Soviet Yak-3. Having played most of the other Yaks up to this point and enjoyed them, especially the Yak-9s are particularly enjoyable, with the T and the K, which I had a good time playing. I expected nothing less from this one, but I had researched it a while back but I'd been busy with the La line from the La 5 to the La 7, and especially had been concentrating on the I-185s, which I dearly love. And I didn't get around to the Yak 3 for a decent while, and on this very first outing with it, I ended up with an amazing number of kills. Right out of the box, dead stock, this is a good, very good, solid plane. It feels solid. It doesn't feel twitchy, but yet it's very maneuverable but solid. And guns hit hard enough, as you just saw there. Very little to complain about. Just like all the other Yaks, it's a good fighter plane. I've always enjoyed the Yaks more than their main competitor, the BF-109s. Just they've always felt a little bit better. Even though the Messerschmitts tend to have I enjoy the firepower more on them, but the Yaks, with the exception of the 9K and the 9T, have always felt a little undergunned to me. But this one has the two heavy machine guns and the one Shivak, and they're all on the center line, so the armament on this, like most of the others, it's easy to aim. Now, if you require a spread, like with wing-mounted cannons, in order to hit something, you're probably better off with something else. But if you can aim decently well with everything on the center line, just like on a P-38 or something like that, the intrinsic aim is a little easier to do. And it's plenty maneuverable. Decently fast. That would be my one complaint about it. If I had to have a complaint, is it could use a touch more speed. But in a dead stock plane, I was amazed. And it really kind of kicking myself for having put it off so long, giving it its first outing. But it's very solid. Once you get the first couple mods in it, especially some of the performance mods, this thing, it just becomes increasingly more. It's kind of lethal, really. The firepower, like I said, is to me the only thing it's kind of lacking. But if you put the heavier firepower, which is I guess what the later Yaks are all about, like there's my first battle, 6 kills. I landed, took off again, but couldn't find it. The battle was over with by the time I got back up to altitude. All in all, just a very fun plane, a very enjoyable plane to fly. There's so many of the Soviet things that are at this BR that are just so incredible. The Laws, the I-185s, and now these Yaks. I love making the little personalized skins for them. I've always had access to Photoshop. The very first thing I did to this one was just take my Yak 9K basic skin and put it on here. I had to do a little bit of touch up around the bottom of the forward fuselage up underneath the engine to make it look right, but no, that's not a decal on it. That's not God Mine Man. That's my own little Photoshop thing I made for the shark's mouth. And you can see that's my dog Della on the side. She always likes to go for a ride. Here we are again. Uh, yes, I'm guilty of doing a little bit of scavenging at times, but it's a plane I already knocked the wingtip off of. It's pinwheeling down, and I don't feel bad about shooting it myself. Finish it off before somebody else can come and steal the kill, or God knows they might straighten out and actually get back to base. There's not anything spectacular going on here, but it's just a good solid plane. Very much enjoyed it. It's fast. It's got a good roll rate. Turns great. But it's got a very solid feel to it. It just feels right. Like you can have two cars that will both go the same speed. They'll both corner exactly the same, but the seat of the pants feel of them could be just completely different. They're both doing the same things at the same rate with the same G-forces and all, but one just feels better. Like if you could, maybe you could do it in a car with a higher center of gravity and narrower tires or something, but it's always going to feel better in the one that's slower and got the wider tires, and at least from the seat of the pants point of view. And I know the thought of seat of the pants feel in a digital simulation of real flight is stretching it a bit as far as description and trying to make sense of a way to describe something. But yeah, there is some feedback, even if there's no force feedback in the system. There's another 5 kill gain. But yeah, I've had my share of deaths. And I think, in all fairness, the next time I do one of these videos, I will keep all the deaths and include them all in the compilation of the stock to Spaded. This time I'm really going to show you the death. I thought I was going to save it for a second. Then I thought I was going to semi-soft land it, but we see how that went. By now we're fairly far into it, and she just gets better and better as you get closer to having all your modifications installed. This thing just becomes even more of a terror. I'm not even sure why you would need any of the higher BR yaks. I'm sure there's a situation and there's a need for it, but I don't see it. This thing's just about perfect. It had a little bit more guns. But then I guess that one version does have the 3 Shivaks instead of the 1 Shivak and the 2 heavy machine guns. When I do my job and get the nose on it right, it's got enough firepower. It's adequate. I'm so used to playing multi-cannon planes like the I-185 and that German strike plane with the 320 millimeters, and the Swiss Stuka thing. C-3604, I think is what it's called. But I love playing the Italian SM-91. It's got just, 6 20 millimeter cannons in the nose. I do have a soft spot in my heart for high firepower. Look, there was 5 kills in that game. It's just it's a better plane than I am a pilot, I'll put it that way. Of course, most planes probably are. My Bristol Bulldog is probably a better plane than I am a pilot, but it makes me look good. Great plane, highly recommended. But there's so many, you can really make a nice lineup at 4-3. You can have both I-185s there. You can have, I currently have the Lost 7, and I have this in with the PE-8 and the PE-2, the other the Soviet dive bomber at that range, that BR. Another great thing about this plane is that it does take a pretty good beating. There were several times that I made it back to base, was able to rearm and repair. I think it's probably a little tougher even than the earlier yaks. And since I mostly play arcade, I don't have to worry about wing rip. If I brag on it there, I'd get taken out. But give her a try, you won't be disappointed. And for anybody that stuck around this long to the end, we're coming up on. I hope you've enjoyed the content. I hope you maybe made up your mind whether you want to play it or not. But there it is. There's the announcement. There's the screen. 100% modded. Altogether, it took me 21 battles, 34 kills, 9 bomb kills, 13 assists, and 18 deaths. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Della and I appreciate it. I want you to try to make someone smile today, even if it's only you.